exciting video for you. Well, I think it's exciting. I'm going to be sharing with you my DNA report. So I don't know if that's exciting for you. It should be exciting because this is such an exhaustive DNA report. Like, it's going to tell you so much about you. It's going to tell you more about like who you are, what type of stuff you need to be eating. It's going to tell you what kind of like exercises you need to do. It could even tell you like your personality traits. It could tell you like what cancers you may be at risk of. It could tell you, you know, whether or not like you're the type of person to be like talented at music. This is such an extensive, such an exhaustive DNA report. It's ridiculous. And so I do think this video might excite you. It will help you out so much, just like knowing all this information. So yeah, if you are interested in learning more about the Circle DNA kit, or if you're just excited to hear more about it, whatnot, just keep watching because I'm gonna share a lot with you in today's video on about exactly what the Circle DNA kit is, what it can tell you, and how it can benefit your life. So if you're interested in that, just keep watching. All right, a couple things that I want to go over before I start this video is that, one, I did do an actual DNA report that gives you your ancestry. So that is the 23andMe DNA report that I took, or ancestry. I don't know what it's called. It basically tells me who I am, what my ethnicity is. So if you're interested in that, check the link down below. Also, you can click the link up top, and that's where I share with you basically who I am. That video got a lot of views and it's super controversy. So if you want to check that out, feel free to check that out. But the difference between the 23andMe and the Circle DNA is that the Circle DNA is telling you more about who you are and what you are, not what you are, who you are, and basically the chemistry, the DNA in your body. It's breaking all of that down and telling you who you are and what you need and where you need to be and where you need to go and what you need to do. So yeah, that's what the Circle DNA is in comparison to the 23andMe. And then another thing, so this was supposed to be an unboxing video and also a like demonstration video on how this process works, but I lost that clip. I don't know where it went. I mean, I filmed it like probably a month-ish ago, February, March, April, yeah, like kind of a little bit more than a month ago, and somehow that footage got deleted, so I can't show you. But basically the process of this is very simple and easy. You basically take this like Q-tip looking thing, or cotton swab, whatever you call it, but it's like 2 times the size of a Q-tip, and you just swab the inside of your cheeks a few times, and you then put that into like this little tube, looks like a little test tube, and you close the tube up, and then you just ship it. Like you ship it like you would any other package. I think you take it to like the UPS store, you just give it to them, and then like 20 days, 30 days later, they'd say, hey, we know what your DNA report is now, feel free to check it out. So this whole process, I would say, took like a month and a half, because it took like 2 to 3 weeks for them to get the sample, and then it took another 18, 20, 25 days for them to examine it and then deliver the report to me. So it was a bit of a process, but so worth it. This is something that you didn't know you needed. And I think that honestly, every single person can benefit from this, especially if you plan on having a child. This will also greatly benefit you. So those are the 2 things that I wanted to cover. And so now the next part of this video, I'm going to share with you basically what my results are. Obviously, I can't share everything with you because, like I said, this list is so exhaustive. This list is so huge. Basically, the Circle DNA has like 500 more reports, and there's like 20 different categories. So for example, there might be a category on diseases, and then you have like 20 reports in that disease category. Or you might have a category for your diet, meaning like what type of foods you should eat or what type of food you should avoid. And then there's like reports within that category. So 500 plus reports, it's supposed to be one of the most accurate DNA reports out there. So basically, well, after I talked to my mom about this, she kind of said, oh, you could do that at the doctor. So it's basically like if you were to go to the doctors and get all this blood work done and blah, 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 blah. They give you this report. They tell you like, hey, you should have less of that, or hey, you should have more of this. It's kind of like that. So you could also just go to your doctor, but I do feel like this DNA report is gonna give you a lot more information. Like for example, your doctor is probably not gonna tell you that like, hey, you're probably gifted at music, like you're gifted at singing, or you're gifted at playing instruments. Like a doctor is not gonna tell you that, so you do get a little bit more with the circla DNA kit. And I also think this makes a perfect gift. One of the best gifts I think you could give to someone. It's obviously one of the best gifts you can give to yourself. So definitely think about gifting it to yourself. And also Mother's Day is coming up too. So this would probably make a really good Mother's Day present. And then if your mom knows some things about her, she could probably tell you what, you know, you might have. I'm gonna go ahead and talk about some of the things that stood out for me and that helped me and benefited me the most when it comes to this DNA report. I'm just gonna go ahead and look it up on my phone. You will need to download the Circle DNA app. You download the Circle DNA app, and that's where all your information is at. So this is all of my reports basically. And once you start swiping, it gives you like more within that category. So like up here, it's diet and lifestyle. We swipe, and this is everything that's related to diet and lifestyle. Oh, this one's interesting. So a cool thing here, one of the things that really stood out to me was the skin, because I mean, this is a beauty channel. I'm a little obsessed with my skin. And I thought it was interesting that it tells me that my skin age is younger, which makes perfectly good sense. I mean, I am Asian and I am Black, so both of those are you know, kind of help with making your skin look younger. But it was just so cool to actually see that my skin age is younger and that it's basically because of my DNA. And I feel like that helps so much, so that when I'm talking to my audience, you know, I can't just be like, oh, this product makes me look younger. I do have to kind of let them know like, hey, I do look a little bit younger. My skin looks a little bit younger because it's in my DNA. In a way, I kind of thought, oh, maybe it's the products that I'm using that help my skin to stay young. But no, it's also because of DNA. So that was really good for me to know. Now, in addition to more beauty related things, there's also this skin lightening ability that I found very interesting. It won't only tell you like, hey, you have this, like you're more prone to this or you're more prone to that. If you tap on your result, it talks a little bit about what's going on, and I found so much helpful information in this. So for example, I learned down here that there's this thing called licorice root extract, and that will help with lightening the skin and evening it out. It also helps remove age spots, sun damage, etc. So I actually picked that up and I let my boyfriend use some of it because he has sun damage on his face. So he's currently using that to help lighten it up. So I feel like this is some of the most legit information to help you out. There's also like kojic acid that can help with like basically brightening up the skin. And I love anything that makes my skin look brighter, so I just found that to be so helpful. It's like they went a little extra mile to not only tell you, hey, like you have good skin lightening abilities, but also here's what you can do to help lighten your skin. And by lightening, I'm not mean turning a different ethnicity. I'm talking about like making your skin look brighter and removing scars. There's some other really interesting things that I learned in the skin category, like wrinkle formation, for example. I learned about some products that I could use for my skin. I learned about retinols, chemical peels, glycolic acid, and you know, this is information that you can find online, right? But I feel like the fact that it's coming in this DNA report makes it a little bit more accurate and so much more trustworthy. So because of this, I actually am using products that have retinol in it to help control my wrinkles. And I always knew SPF was important, but for some reason hearing it here just helped a lot more. It also tells me that like there's UVA rays and UVB rays, and it tells I can't remember where it said it, but it said something like, my skin does well at like not getting too much like UVB rays or something like that, so I don't have to worry too much about that. Yeah, there's just so much information in here that's so beneficial for your life, and I feel like, you know, can help you prevent getting cancer, because you can look at this information online, you can Google it yourself, but this one is just specifically for you. Like, the internet doesn't know whether or not your skin, the internet doesn't know if your skin can like get more damage from UVA rays or like UVB rays. You know, you have to like go and do a lab test to figure that stuff out. So a lot of other cool information in diet and lifestyle, but I'm just gonna quickly go to one of my favorite parts because I care so much about my health, and that is this is the nutrition section. This is my absolute favorite section because I do care a lot about my health. I'm always trying to eat as healthy as possible, and I want to make sure my insides are perfect so that I can function the best way possible. And I feel like this was one of the most helpful things for me because, I mean, it's your health, and this is just information you can't necessarily look up online. Granted, you can find a lot of information, like I've always known to take more B12, have more vitamin D, but everybody's body acts a little differently, and this basically tells you what you need more of. I think one of the biggest highlights for me was learning about the different types of omega-3s, because the general thing is to take omega-3s, but did you know that they're currently on my app I see 4 different types of omega-3, and I think the most common one is the DHA, and I take DHA, take that in an fish oil pill, but what I didn't know is that I have a higher need for these, so maybe I don't take the normal dosage, but I take like, or maybe I take the maximum dosage that you can take, because you know, usually when they recommend dosages to you, they'll be like, oh, 20% to 100%, right? Me, it's like, okay, I know I should take 100% of that. But the interesting thing was the omega-3 ALA. I don't think I even get ALA. So this helped me realize that I need more of that. And also, not only does it do that, there's a recommendations tab, and it gives you this information. It will tell you what foods have ALA in it. This one in particular even tells me that I shouldn't take it in a pill form. that I shouldn't take it as an oil, and instead take it as a food source. So it gets that specific. So when you start to think about the price of this product, it kind of makes it worth it, because this information, like, they really didn't have to go a step further to include this information. They could have just told you need omega-3, ALA, but they're telling you what foods you can get, and they're even telling you the amount of ALA that is in each food. So I think that's amazing. And there's a couple other things that are in here and kind of also make sense. Like the vitamin B6, I have heard of vitamin B12, and I was even going to buy vitamin B12 because everyone says, take vitamin B12, it's gonna give you energy and make everything all right. But I actually need vitamin B6, and I don't ever hear anyone talk about vitamin B6. And actually, when I went into the store to pick up vitamin B6, there was only one vitamin B6 pill there. They had like 5 other vitamin B12 pills, but not B6. So that just goes to show how seldom it's talked about, but everybody's body is different. And so this makes it so helpful and helps you find out, what you're missing. And it's just information you cannot find online. I would have never known that my body needed B6. I probably would have had to done a crazy amount of research to know that I needed vitamin B6. So after I read all of this, I went out and got everything that I needed. Like, for example, I have chia seeds every single day. I have Brazil nuts every single day because that contains a lot of selenium. I didn't even know what selenium was until this, but it basically tells me I have a higher need for those things. So now I take them all. And I've been doing it for probably 2 weeks now. And honestly, I really like it. I really like that I'm getting all the nutrients in my body. I don't know if it's a placebo thing, but I just honestly feel like I'm all right. Like everything is just normal, stabilized. My energy is good. I don't know. I honestly just feel like pretty freaking good now that I take all of my proper nutrients. So that's really cool. I think that was one of the most beneficial things for me. And then the last thing I'm going to touch on so that this video isn't too long is the personality traits category. This one was so beneficial for me because the thing that it did for me is that it made me like okay with some of the symptoms that I have. So I'll give you one example. Okay, this was a perfect example. So there's neuroticism here, and neuroticism, it tells you basically what neuroticism is. And then it's saying that I'm likely sensitive / concerned, so that it's how emotionally stable you are. So after reading this, because especially when I'm PMSing, I have a tendency, I have a lot of mental problems. So I negatively think about things. I can't fall asleep because I'm just thinking too much. And a few years ago, I suffered a lot with negative thinking. I would get major depression from the negative thinking. And reading this and knowing that it's kind of a part of my DNA made me feel a lot better. It's hard to explain why, but it's like I didn't cause myself to like have negative thinking. Like I'm not a horrible person. It's a DNA thing. Like it's in people's DNA to be a little bit more emotional or to be a little bit more negative than others. So for one, it gave me a lot of comfort. And then two, it made me realize that like, okay, I really do need to work on this. Like the negative thinking, it's not just a thing. It's not just something I'm doing. It's actually something that's within my DNA. And like, I need to work maybe harder than other people to fix that. So instead of like feeling alone or feeling like separated because I have more negative thinking than other people, instead it made me feel like, oh, okay, this is my DNA and this is something that like I need to work on. Like I'm not like abnormal, I'm not different, it's just in my DNA, and there's a bunch of other people who have it in their DNA. So now I just know I need to work a little bit harder to work on it, or I need to do things differently than other people to work on it. Because some people, you know, they just have a bad day and maybe they do all the steps, like maybe they just, I don't know, listen to some good music and then they feel better, because maybe they have like a normal dosage of negative thinking or whatever. But in my case, I see it as like, no, I have like a higher, more likely tendency to do that because like it's my DNA is playing a role in it. So I'm gonna work a little bit harder to work on my negative thinking, like maybe seek out therapy, maybe take medication. Just I now know I need to work a little bit harder on my negative thinking, and I do need to make it a concern because it's part of my DNA. So yeah, okay, I think I explained that for a really long time, but yeah, I just thought that was really cool. Like so many other parts of the personality trait, you'll just see it and be like, wow, that's why I am what I am. There's also an agreeable trait, like people can have be on the low scale of it where they don't agree with people and they're always like, nah, let's not go there, let's not do that. So now, because I do know people like that, so it's like when I see people like that, instead of being annoyed with them or being like, gosh, why are they like that, I hate them, I'm now like, oh, it's probably just in their DNA. So that helped a lot too. This thing helped me in so many freaking ways that I just completely think it's worth the super high price tag. You also have physical traits. The physical traits were kind of accurate, some weren't necessarily. The family planning was helpful as well, and the family planning is a reason why I want to get my boyfriend to take this test, is so that we could see if there's anything harmful that we could pass on to our kids. Cancer risk, that's obviously helpful. I learned that I'm at risk for Alzheimer's, so now I just know, okay, I gotta really make sure that I get a handle on preventing Alzheimer's from popping up. So yeah, there's just like so much information on here that can like greatly benefit you. And now you can see why I suggest making it as a gift. I would love to give this to my boyfriend, for example, because I think it would benefit both of us to know this information. I don't think anyone would not want this. So much in this DNA report, it's gonna benefit everyone. And again, now that I have it, and now that I've looked through it, I do think it's worth it, and I would buy it with all of this knowledge that I had. But prior to it, I don't think I would buy it, because I'd be like, that's too expensive, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, it's one of those things that like you didn't know you needed until you got it. So that's why I think it would make a perfect gift. And if you are interested in gifting this, I do have a discount code to offer you, a whopping 33% you can get off of your purchase of the Circle DNA kit. So if you are interested in that, I'll insert my code here because I don't remember. I think it's just my name, Keisha B33 maybe. I'll also link it down below. I'll link the site where you can pick this up, and with my discount code. And the reason why I have a discount code is because Circle DNA was kind enough to send me this. I don't even know why they picked me to review this, but I'm ever so grateful for them. Maybe it could be because my 23andMe video did so well. But regardless, I'm so super grateful that they sent this out to me. Like, they have no idea how much this has just benefited me and changed my life around, and I'm just now preaching about it to my friends and my family. It is expensive, so I am very grateful that they were able to provide a 33% off code. I also think it's really awesome to pick up. Like I said, if you are planning on starting a family, or if you have if you need to know what nutrients you need, or like maybe there's some things about you need more understanding of, I think it would be really good for that. And I think that is it for this video. I have been here a while now. I hope you enjoyed it. I know it's a little bit different from the other videos that I do, but again, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned some stuff, and yeah, I think that's it. If you enjoyed it, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.